David, thanks for coming on the LA Sober Sessions podcast. You are my first guest, sir.
What?
First guest.
You're lying. That's like your first date, you're saying.
First date.
I don't believe you.
You are?
You're a virgin.
I am a virgin.
How's that possible? Look at you.
David, we have been friends now for a couple of years now.
Feels like 15, 20 years.
Yeah, we were introduced by my CEO, Rob, and
Love him.
we have become, Rob is a dear friend, a dear partner.
One of the best men I've ever met.
He is
Both
a
of
good,
you together, very powerful.
unstoppable. We have formed a great friendship. And you also are in our business. So let's start there. Tell me a bit about yourself and just quickly,
Give you a little start. I'm not great at this part. That's not something I like talking about. Sometimes I feel like I'm bragging, but this is just my history. When I was young, I started out being a magician, and I thought I'm going to be a magician, and then I'm going to be a doctor. And then I realized, well, I really like people, so maybe the doctor part. I did an internship, and I was president of Future Medics and high school, crazy stuff that made me accelerate quickly with credits and stuff. And I realized, no. And I decided out of college, I was going to go with my dad, who's a madman. He had top 10 ad agency. I have a degree in advertising. I thought I'm going the whole way with my dad. And that just didn't work out because he wouldn't give up the reins. And that was my dad. So my sister was there too. So anyway, I pivoted and made some moves. I had to find my own thing. I realized that pretty quickly. And I started a company, not knowing what it was, called Players Incorporated. And next thing I knew, I met a partner of mine. She was buying a newspaper out of a 25-cent newspaper thing. I don't even know what they're called anymore.
those things are crazy, right?
So I gave her a quarter, and we became partners after that, and very successful. We ended up getting Miami Vice, the Bee Gees, Gloria Estefan, all in Miami.
The Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees still
love
are,
Bee Gees.
are my favorite of them all.
Love.
And all three brothers have died
Yacht
except
rock.
Barry. And anyway, that led me to meeting Mrs. Stallone, who I met in a divorce lawyer / entertainment lawyer. That's the way it worked in Miami. You're a divorce and entertainment lawyer.
So you grew up in Florida.
Birds. So I grew up in Miami, yes. And that propelled me. Mrs. Stallone and I came out to Los Angeles, and she set up a deal with Jackson family, and I moved out here, and that's where I started my
Jackson family, is that the Michael Jackson family?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that was very interesting and taught me a lot, and I'm still here 38 years later and loving it. I live in Malibu. I have two beautiful, wonderful sons.
You do have two beautiful, the first sons. I work very closely with one of them, and he is I am a big believer in if the kids are hardworking and the kids have just good souls, that while it comes from them, it also comes from their parents, and so I give you kudos for that.
And you too. I've seen you with you just love your daughter, and they're great. And Kate I've met, and just fantastic. So
yeah.
It's the greatest production of our lives, and I honor that. I make a lot of mistakes.
We all do.
And I just try my best every day.
Yeah. And
that's why alcohol is not really good for me, by the way.
Yeah, we'll get in that in a second. And you had a big hit in what I do for full time is in direct to consumer marketing.
Quite a few, yeah.
Yeah, but the big one that I worked on was Malibu Pilates, and I'd even because you sold the rights of that to Gothy Rinker, I believe. Is that what you did with that one?
Well, I bought the rights back after 12 years. So, yes.
So when we were buying millions of dollars a week for that show, and that was a monster. So
I wasn't sure. I thought that Rob had mentioned that to me, but that's pretty coincidental. Nothing's coincidental.
Yeah.
But that's fantastic. And now here you are. You have my new version of it, which we're really excited about. On the verge of maybe QVC again. We'll see if it makes sense. But
yeah,
it's getting momentum. And and I appreciate being with you guys. You're wonderful.
Awesome. LA Sober, you and I have spent many nights at Soho Malibu. because we both like to attend there, the little beach house. And you have seen me, and I don't drink. I don't think I've drank since I've known you. Maybe in the beginning. I did. And with the brand and the movement that LA Sober is about, I have found that it's just a lot easier not to drink. And I think when you come to those thoughts, there's usually a reason behind it. So let's talk about your relationship with alcohol and your thoughts on it.
Well, first of all, for my entire life, as an adult anyway, and I was a late bloomer, so I really didn't start drinking or even trying marijuana or anything till I was basically 18 or 19, I would say, 20.
Yeah.
And alcohol, I think I'm allergic to alcohol, and I don't say it lightly. My nose gets wildly stuffed, and I just have like allergy reactions to it. And I've always had that. So I've never really like engaged it. And that's probably why I ended up in other areas. And I just found that the premise I've been doing for about 25 years. It's not exactly you,
Yep.
but it is sort of exactly the idea that I feel that I can do now with so many options, with THC, tinctures. I don't like to smoke anything. So with tinctures, and if you monitor it and you have the right dosage and stuff, this stuff is just fantastic. CBD is in it. You can relax at night. I don't need to have a drink. I don't need to have 2 drinks and then 3 drinks. It's always more than 1 drink.
Always.
1 drink lasts for about 20 minutes. So I find that this other stuff has a slower burnout and does better for me. I don't get any of the allergic effects that I've had. So strictly from a physical standpoint and a mental standpoint, it's better for me.
Yeah, and don't you find it crazy that they not so much now, but they used to make like just weed like was such a bad thing. Like we used to buy weed from dealers. Like we would buy it like, okay, I'm gonna go buy a quarter. Like it's crazy to think that they made this thing be so bad.
Oh my goodness.
And it's just like the media and like the more that you just see the world, how it works. And I never really like to talk politics, but it is crazy the machine behind like what they want to get out there and what they don't, and how a lot of it is such bullshit. And again, I'm not condoning, like I wouldn't want my 14-year-old daughter to be smoking weed right now or taking gummies by any means, but Kate's 17, almost 18. I would much rather her, take a gummy, get high, do a little bit of a microdose, and experience that type of a high over getting drunk. Because I think when you're, at least with me, when you're high, you get something out of it, and you're retrospect and thinking through stuff, right, instead of just being a sloppy.
And it gives you an appetite, if you've noticed too.
Yeah.
Whereas alcohol just makes you kind of, for me anyway, makes me sick at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, even the whole marijuana thing goes back to, and I'm not advocating any of this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, a friend of mine, Billy Hayes, the movie was made called Midnight Express. The guy, got imprisoned in a Turkish prison where he got raped, and he had to escape it after 5 years because he had some marijuana on him in Turkey.
Yeah.
And this has happened everywhere in the world, including the U.S., where people have spent 15 years in prison. So now that it's legal in most states for at least medicinal purposes, it's a good thing. This helps cancer patients. It helps people have an appetite. My mother is 88. I'm suggesting it to her right now. She has no appetite. She's lost 8 pounds, so she's at 99 pounds. Not good. She's lost 10%.
Yeah, I still think it's crazy that there's friends of ours, and they will never try marijuana, but they drink like fish, and I'm like,
full-blown alcoholics.
What is wrong with you? Like,
right.
Like it doesn't. It's like so. Like,
oh my God,
it's too different. It's
generational.
Like, yeah,
partially.
And they're so anti. It's like,
and they're generational alcoholics.
Yeah,
by
yeah,
the way.
Yeah. So thinking through like alcohol and I mean, was there like besides yourself, was there any moments like in your life that was really eye opening for you about like?
Yeah. Really one in particular, because I never had this crazy, I told you, I thought I was allergic to it, whatever. And my ex-wife, I was married 20 years, beautiful woman, big heart, very talented, but again, generational alcoholic. Her father was alcoholic, who died at like 61 years old. And she was just taken away by it. We had 3 kids under the age of 5 that were all in diapers at one point, all born basically the same day, strangely enough. And
Wait, say that again.
we have 3 kids. So I married her. She has this beautiful kid named Donovan. So Donovan is the same birthday as Truman, January 10th, and 5 years difference. I married her because I fell in love with Donovan, and I slowly fell in love with her too. But honestly, I wanted a child. I was ready to be a dad. I was 30 something years old, and it just took her away. And then I got involved in it, and I was enabling at one point because I thought we were just partying and having great sex. And then I want to say certain things. I don't know if it's appropriate.
No. What or do you still talk to Donovan?
We have not. She has not talked to our kids in 14 years, and I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just saying this is a fact. And at the same time, she hasn't really allowed me to talk to Donovan. So there's some sort of strange fence that's put up. I don't know why the fence is up for either reason, because I don't think that's healthy, but I'm in my lane and I have to stay in my lane. It's up to her. If she wants whatever she needs to do, that's what I learned. I cannot control an alcoholic. I cannot control anybody in my life, basically, but especially alcoholic when it's your mother of your children and you're driving to school not all together. That was my moment where I ended it.
That was a breaking point.
She got I was told that she was drunk on the school. So I came over, that kind of thing, in the middle of my work, and I traveled a lot during that period. I went to live in Russia for a year, stuff like that. And that was a day, really, that I realized this is over, and I sort of put some boundaries up immediately that day, and we did rehab and the whole thing. As soon as a catastrophe happens, you go to rehab, go to therapy, do all that stuff. None of it panned out, and it was really a lot of money. That cost
it's a business.
It's a total business, and it's a rook, because even then I was enabling her, not with any alcohol, but when I visited the Meadows in Arizona, celebrity kind of thing.
Yeah, you hear about a lot of stores going out there.
Anyway, she begged me, because she wasn't drinking anymore. She's getting DTs. I mean, this is a serious thing when you get off of this. And she just needed coffee and cigarettes.
Yeah.
So cigarettes she could get, but coffee they didn't have there because they don't want to. I guess they didn't want to give their people caffeine. I don't know.
Thank you for sharing that, God, David.
But let me tell you what happened. This is my kicker. So I ushered in a potted plant from a Walmart around the corner that had stacks of coffee, and I'm very brash this way, and I just gave it. I just walked in with it. Nobody asked me a thing. I said, "This is a gift from my wife." Nobody asked me or checked it. Everyone has probably asked to do that. So I brought in coffee, which made me feel really bad that I did that.
Yeah, but I mean, you were doing. I mean, I
That's
think
how bad they were. They didn't even have security.
Yeah, I think that's probably why they're so busy. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? Like
they were having sex. A lot of people were having sex, hooking up, a lot of that stuff. And I learned that at the AA meetings because I went.
They were having sex in therapy at rehab.
Meadows. Yeah, that was a big thing. Everyone knew it. They had a sex addiction.
Oh my God!
Side to the alcohol and drugs.
Yeah,
and so it was fully sex addicts all together, and they were beautiful people. I mean, these actresses and actors. It was beautiful. They were smoking cigarettes and
not stressing because they got money or someone's paying for it, so they're just hanging out.
It's a vacation.
Yeah, it's a vacation from it's a vacation from real life.
I wanted to go there. I mean, I was like, what the? I want to be in this. One of the rehabs. We did quite a few.
Did you ever think that you needed to go to rehab, or no? You never thought, or did you?
No, I really didn't, because suddenly I took on a whole new position, and I realized this is my kids at stake. I'm going to lose my kids. If something happens here, I could be responsible by letting this go on. And she just, it was, it's a sad story. I get,
Yeah.
it makes me sad, but I just needed to be focused and alert. I gave up everything. I gave up horses. I gave up my motorcycle. I gave up any drug.
Wait, you got a motorcycle, David?
I had 25 motorcycles. I'm a motorcycle guy.
David, I'm learning so much about you. I did not know that. What type of bikes did you have?
Oh my God, I even made bikes. I did a deal with Harley Davidson and Fender. We created the Guitarly Stratocaster with Fender. It was decked out with jewels and wood and had a guitar on the back and plug in your amp to the seat that rises. 250 grand. I had every bike. I had a lot of Harleys. I had Titans, 1800 cc's. And then when this all happened, and we had horses, Warm Bloods, and Palominos, quarter horses. We had a ranch.
Would you and the wife go out on the bike together and ride around?
We met on horseback. That's when I met her.
Okay.
And her horse, I was Jewish cowboy, so I'm riding a quarter horse Palomino. The most beautiful. It's like a big golden retriever.
Jewish
right?
cowboy.
No, it's like a golden retriever basically. And she's riding this 18-hand Ferrari, which is a warm blood called a Hanoverian. And the first day I met her, the Hanoverian Alex kicked her the fuck off, and she was so pissed. So somehow my little cowboy thing worked, and I thought she was just hot. She was hot, and I somehow get Mo, my dog's name, my grandfather's name, and my horse's name, to rally, and we saved her like in the movies. And I picked the horse. I got the horse. I've never even ridden a horse before. I was terrible. I hold on to I would write English now. I'm very good now, but I held on to the horn like a cowboy.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was there for, but I held on to it.
You're like, yeah!
Bring Alex to her. She's like, wow, this guy did this for me. And then I see her at the end. You go to clean up your horses, wash them down. She's fucking elbowing the horse in the face. Boom! I'm not talking once. Like 50, I should have realized. Then we made love in the stable after, and it was crazy sex. She was great that way. I mean, we're very spontaneous and fun. So I thought it was just a continuation of that.
I had like 4 other things I want to say, but is there, I mean, even with all the pain, you can still look back at those times and go, God, we had some really good times together.
The best or the worst?
Because through the chaos, there's always those moments that kept it going, and those, like, I just know how I am, and as crazy as I can be, I think that's kind of what attracts people to me sometimes too, is because I do have this side of me that is so full of life, but then with that, there's a lot of other things that come along with it. So, but you can find like some good things in it as well.
Of course, yes. I'd say 50%.
Yeah.
The thing with alcoholism, from my perception and my personal experience, is it's either up or down.
Yep.
There's no in between. So it's an extreme situation. And there was bipolarity involved in this thing, mixed with drugs and alcohol and bipolar or ADHD and stuff like that. You really have no chance against this. You don't.
Yeah. It's so because I think that I deal with a ton of that stuff, and in my genes, it goes back. I mean, as far as I can, like from my grandparents and to my aunts and uncles, and my parents had their own stuff going on, and I think the minute I finally realized that I didn't want it anymore, but no one was ever going to tell me I didn't want it. It was me. Either right. I don't want to, and I didn't go to rehab. I didn't go to any. I just said I'm done with it.
See, LA sober this is the unique part. When we went to a doctor, psychiatrist, to get the right medication, which I knew was the wrong medication. He gave us a bag of, I'm talking 300 samples of 500 milligram Seroquel. You know what Seroquel is? Seroquel can put out a freaking horse. But if you have, what they do is at the last stage of any drug problem, they give you Seroquel with the hope that it can wean you off, which is exactly what LA Sober is kind of about.
Yeah, it's for sure.
So this is a serious drug. And if you mix it with alcohol, which everyone relapses, you're going to die. There's no question about it. So we got into that situation, and I went and almost killed this doctor, after I told him, I'm going to sue your ass. You gave my wife, my current wife,
Yeah.
after we explained everything to you, a bag full of killer drugs that she obviously couldn't handle. So this is what you get. LA Sober give me that same thing that works.
Yeah, and you wake up in the morning and you feel fine. You're not addicting, and it doesn't keep your body's not keeping to ask for it. Right. It's just when I want to get a bit of a mind escape and get high and not think about work constantly.
Whether it's exercise, whether it's a little of this or that, everyone's entitled to just have some time off.
No, I agree.
And you can't really live life without some quiet time where your brain's not on overload every second, thinking the worst case scenarios every time if you're not doing something else. So,
and it's crazy is when I was younger, when I was like probably in my early 20s, maybe even a little bit younger than that, when I would smoke weed, because back then I smoked it, which I don't smoke weed once in a blue moon I will, but I would get like super anxiety when I would get high. And the more I think about it, because I don't anymore, I think it was because I had alcohol going on too. And I think I was in that place in my mind that I wouldn't let myself calm down. And now I don't have that. I don't get anxiety at all with weed. It's like...
Do you choose like a sativa or indica or hybrid or something?
It matters. I mean, most of the time it's sativa, just because I like to get up.
Right.
But once in a while, but I don't like to be like super like just stoned out of my mind. Like now with anything I do, I like to like microdose just enough to feel a little bit different, but I'm in control. But I don't like anything. I don't like to do too much of something anymore. I just don't.
That's the part of the key to this.
Yeah.
So moderation.
I was going to bring up, have you ever been bucked off a horse?
Yes.
So yeah, I got bucked off a horse when I was like 10 years old, and it was in Smoke Tree Stables in Palm Springs. And I remember the guy's like, and I'm like scared of horses, to be honest with you, but I was on it and the guy's like, kick it.
Yeah,
I kicked it.
Bad word.
This motherfucker threw me. It was like hot. I walked back. I did not get back on.
Yeah, kicking it is what makes it go.
Yeah. And then bikes. So my dad loved Harleys. My dad had a big beard. He was a big biker dude. And when he passed, I actually bought the Harley off my mom. I don't know why she didn't give it to me, but I bought it off her, whatever.
Was your parents alcoholic or anything?
They know my dad couldn't drink. My dad would have like 3 drinks to be hammered. So my dad didn't drink a lot. Now there were some times when I saw some things go on that probably shouldn't, and my mom, booze wasn't her thing. There were some other things that she battled. She dealt with some health concerns, and I think doctors fed into that, and I think it was the downfall. And I look at it like the way that they give out drugs in this country is just
that's the bottom line.
It's
I'm glad you just said that, because that was my experience. To treat this, it has to be coming from the heart of the person.
Yeah.
I learned that after money and time, losing a marriage, taking custody. I got full custody. The judge said to me that day in court, this was like a 65-year-old, 60, maybe 70-year-old judge, very experienced, kind of looked like Diane Keaton type of character.
Yeah.
And she's been on the place for a while. She goes, and eventually she had me come up. She goes, I've never seen a worse case of a mother. I swear, I sort of teared up a little bit, and I thought that my ex teared up a little bit during that, because it was really like this realization that she just said that. She became a Supreme Court judge, and I sort of watched her career. But she came up and it was like this to me and my wonderful 6-foot-tall Irish female attorney, Hillary, and she said, "Would you mind?" Because I wasn't looking to have the kids separated
Yeah.
from their mother or anything. And would you mind if I gave you full physical and legal, which is a lot of
Yeah, that doesn't
guys
happen.
want that.
Yeah.
And I just thought that if that happens by God's will, maybe, but I never expected it. And sure enough, that day it happened. And that was a good day because we had done supervised visitations in all kinds of problematic situations. And that just gave me, finally, I could have them in a one place. We moved into a new house, beautiful house in Malibu. The kids, I let them do graffiti on the wall, and just total
Yeah.
freedom. But they're great kids.
They
These
are.
guys, one of them really well. The soul of my sons, even though I have my own fatherly issues, this is the best people
The best.
I've
It's
ever
the
met
best.
in my life.
It's the best.
Both of my sons would literally give their life, even when we're in the worst place. Makes me tear up.
Yo.
This is the most important thing to me, and that's where I had to call it a day, because I'm not going to put my kids lying. I'm never going to let my kids drive with somebody ever again, if it's in my control, and it's not in my control usually. But that was ever again take my kids in
No,
the car
you
when
can't.
you're drunk or on drugs,
No.
including myself, by the way.
Yeah.
I agree, but to be consistently that way, and you're not going to take my kids ever again. That's when it ended. That was the moment.
Jesus,
Really makes me sad.
Yeah, it's
thinking
heavy,
about it.
man. Yeah, I mean, when I really not the main reason, but one of the main reasons that I quit drinking was I wanted especially my oldest, to understand that it's not normal behavior, and I didn't want her to have to deal with it, or not deal with, but just not to accept it.
Right. Of course. We're still dads, and we still care about everything. And when you become a single dad, I had never done that. My parents married 65 years. I was planning for the long haul. That's why I stuck in there. And by the way, I didn't divorce her. She ended up divorcing me legally. We had gone back and forth. I did it once. She did once. I asked my attorney, does it matter? And she goes, no, it doesn't even matter. So I decided she's going to be the one that,
Yeah,
And I thought that was honorable to give her that choice.
Well, I could see it because you're not a quitter. You're like me.
Right.
Like we fight, and you wanted to
like
do
ping pong or pickleball, whatever we're playing.
Well, ping pong. You keep kicking my ass, but
well, you'll get back one of these years.
I don't know, man.
Maybe when I'm 85 or something.
I was thinking about it. I just got back into my Facebook account. I haven't been in there in years. And I got it back in it over the weekend. And in there was all these pictures of my parents that I haven't seen in a long time. And man, just looking back at those pictures, like there's one of me and my dad. My dad has a big beard and he's wearing like an OP shirt. And I'm like this fucking tall. And none of us are perfect. Like I'm by far not I'm by far not a perfect parent. And my parents were so good to me as a child because I had so many issues. And as I got older, there's they started to deal with their own stuff, but I wouldn't even been able to even have a chance if they didn't put me.
Of course.
And they when I was a kid, they wanted to put me into like special ed because I couldn't talk, and they back then they just would put kids away. And that's why, like, I'm not hard on, like I try and like be there for people because like none of us are perfect. We're all going through this world together, and every day's a new experience. And just sitting here with you, David, it honors me that I'm able to have a conversation with you like this. And I didn't even know you 3 years ago, and we become so close. And you're part of the brand, and you're helping me in so many ways. We're pitching the shows and all that. But even with all that, it's about this. And it's about connecting and about being transparent and opening up because if you can share your thoughts, and most men don't do that. If you can share your thoughts, if you share your thoughts with someone, you feel better and you feel connected. And I think that we live in these fucking silos that you got to just always be on and nothing bothers me. And that's not the way to live. It's about
men especially.
Yeah.
We're taught to be tough. We got to be strong men. We got to be never show our emotion.
Yeah.
How do we? Nobody can live this way.
You can't.
Maybe generations ago, cavemen, they had to go hunt and do it. We got to get it out. This is a quick media. Everything happens immediate. Immediacy is involved here.
Yeah.
We react. So we need to be human beings, and we're treated like these guys that have a constant shield over our heart. It's just impossible.
Well, and like it's almost like this is therapy, but it's a lot easier to be therapy with someone that you trust and you know and you love, and then going to a therapist. Like I've tried therapy a couple of times on my own. It just never really worked. My wife and I had a really good therapist that actually worked.
Yeah.
But like this is better therapy because this is the real deal. This is the real deal.
The real deal. And these therapists, we went to marriage, family therapy. My first question was always, how long have you been married?
Yeah.
2 out of 3 times they've been divorced and not married at the moment.
Exactly.
So how am I supposed, after I find that out, is there any credibility left?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It's funny. My wife, she found our therapist by watching reality TV.
Terrible, probably.
No, she was so good.
Who was she? Would I know?
I can't even think of her. I was asking Nicole the other day her fucking name. Anne. She was in Beverly Hills. Anne something. If I don't remember, sorry.
Yeah, you'll tell me.
No, she was so good. She was
Always
so
curious.
good.
Well, so we've experienced this together. It's sort of a waste of money unless you find somebody like that.
Yeah.
And if it's neutral and she's able to deal with both sides, maybe there's a chance.
Yeah.
I was hoping there was. We would go out and drink right after the therapy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was for alcohol. Okay. And we'd go to the worst bar in Malibu.
What bar?
Oh, it was called Doom Room. Remember? You don't remember Doom Room, but Doom Room, where all the Jan Michael Vince and Gary Busey, the whole group ends up at the Doom Room in the early 90s, late 80s.
I kind of wish I would have known you back then.
Crazy.
David, we would have been.
If we went to college or something, I went to the University of Florida, Gainesville Green.
Yep.
It's mud. Okay, you grow mushrooms. And I never did mushrooms. My roommate always did everything. Call him Lee Boyle, because he had the worst acne, and he would basically pass out every night. So one night I had 27 shots of tequila with my best friend, who's still here in Hidden Hills, and we're good friends. I think you met him once at a party or something at Soho. Anyway, we both drank. I remember I drank 27 shots. He says he drank 24. Then we ate a pizza. Lee Boyle is my neighbor, where we slept next to each other with poles, because the deck was the top part of the thing, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Crazy thing. So I threw up all over Lee Boyle, and he woke. I said, "You threw up on yourself, Lee Boyle." He woke up the next morning. But that's how wasted, that period was. I remember.
I
remember Chuck Mangione.
Do you remember a bar in Miami called Tad's Hideaway?
Sounds familiar, like a frog kind of thing.
It's like a dive bar. I don't know. Like
where in Miami?
I don't know Miami well, but it was like I think that would it be the south end of it?
Sounds familiar. So what's the story?
I went there. I went on my friend's 25th birthday. Like 30 of us flew to Miami, and I'd never been. And we had fucking there was 25 of us. We had like 200 tabs of ecstasy.
Oh my God.
Just out of control.
I could never do ecstasy. It freaked me out. I took a quarter of a tab with my girlfriend. My heart started palpitating. I got really freaked out and paranoid, and I couldn't do anything.
Oh my God, I did a lot of that, a lot.
It's better that I had one bad one the first time, actually, because I didn't do it again.
Yeah, because you would have liked it if you would have enjoyed it.
Maybe,
Yeah.
Those are my experiences. If it was bad, I never touched it.
Yeah, I didn't learn that. I kept going back.
When I did Miami Vice, that was my first big accounts, in Miami. And when that happened, that lit up everything. I got the city of Miami, Burger King, weird stuff, all the entertainment stuff. And Coke was big deal, everywhere. And I remember being at the number one resort, in Miami.
I'm making sure my daughter would pick her up. Yeah.
Can we continue?
Yeah.
Okay. And James Caan, remember Jimmy Caan?
Yeah.
Is there with the owner of the place, best friends, 9 a.m. in the morning. And they had clearly been doing cocaine because it was over their face and the desk, right? The key guy, billionaire guy, James's friend, I won't say the name, gets up in the middle of the meeting, and he just throws up.
Because he just
He
can't
sits
take it.
back down like nothing ever the fuck happened.
Yeah.
That's the way it was in Miami, and I'm sure everywhere.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. We used to live on, when I was like 25, I lived on Sunset, right by what's that new? You guys call it Social House. It used to be called Red Rock, and there was a
Okay, I
hill.
remember that.
There was a hill, and we would drop Molly at home. Or back then it was E, and we'd always go to the Sky Bar. That was like our place, and we would call it Throw Up Hill because it was so strong that you would take it, you would throw up on the walk up, but then you're good. I'm like, sign me up. Fuck no. I look back at those days. I'm like,
Oh my
how did I get?
God.
Yeah, and we did that like
Right.
a lot. Like
This
it
is
was
where this stuff goes.
Yeah.
So it takes you into a bad place. And if you want to be successful in life, I think it's better to just be LA sober.
yes.
Period.
agree.
I mean, just for that one reason.
No, it's so much easier. Trust me. I mean, we've been through it. We've seen it. We've got it. And if you're like us, that you don't want to be sober, it's so much. It's like it's not gonna fuck with you. It
Makes
just
you
doesn't.
moderate
Yes,
yourself in such a
everything.
cool way, because nobody's perfect, like we said from the beginning
No.
of this talk. So we know that. Let's not put over pressure on
No.
us. If something is healthy, you're going to take Seroquel by a doctor prescription. That's the worst
I
thing
mean,
you
you
could
take
take.
NyQuil. Jesus, like
Right,
it's all
NyQuil
that
is
shit.
fine.
Like people get like I remember for a while there, I wouldn't sleep without taking, what's the night the
Anxiety medication.
No, the sleeping ones.
Yeah,
Was it
Xanax.
NyQuil? No, it was like over the counter. I would
Oh,
take,
sleepies or Benadryl. Or
yeah,
something.
it's like you wake up in the morning just like zonked out.
And you can't breathe and all kinds
No,
of things.
David, thank you for coming on the pod.
Thank you.
I like the sweatshirt, the
I am
swag
so
there.
proud. This is so comfortable, by the way. I'm just going to wear this regularly. I hope I can get a blue one.
You will. I just have to figure out what sizes they were. And that hat looks great on you too. But
Thank you. I feel great.
David, thank you again.
This was like a great session for me.
I have
Thank you so
enjoyed
much.
it.
You're fantastic.
And yeah, we'll bring you back when we have some more things to talk about.
Play a little ping pong.
Yeah, we'll play some ping pong. But I appreciate you coming on, and I appreciate you as a friend.
Thank you. And goes double for me.
Peace. Ah, good.
Is that good?
We did.